How's Raheem Mostert?
He's okay. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks at least. You know, he has a knee strain, and so he'll be out for 2 or 3 weeks at least is what the doctors are telling me right now, or medical staff is telling me right now.
Obviously, when you look at the kind of player he can be, I mean, he is one of your playmakers. I mean, what does that do for you guys, kickoffs or in the offense?
Well, I think that Akeem Hunt has done a fantastic
Yeah.
job on the returns that he has gotten. And Mostert is one of our big playmakers, a guy that probably we haven't utilized enough up to this point in time of the season. He's number 8, and we had some personnel packages and a game plan designed for number 8. And as soon as we called his number, he was already out of the ball game. And, we spent a lot of time repping some plays to get the ball in his hand more this past Saturday. And it's ironic that it worked out to where the game we had planned to feature him the most in. So at this point in time this season, that he wasn't available. You know, so unfortunate, but he's going to be okay, and it's nothing that's going to be season-ending. So he'll get back in a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere in that range.
You had Danny Anthrop back on kickoffs. Is he the next guy up in that situation?
He might be. You know, we had OJ had a turf toe yesterday. You know, and those are really painful. They can be a struggle. And I thought he did a good job of sucking it up and trying to come out and make some plays. But Danny is very reliable, catching the kicks, and he's also very reliable as the off returner. And the off returner has to catch the ones that they don't kick to the main returner, but he also has to do some communication and choreograph some things back there. And he also has to be a guy that'll throw his body in there to kind of mop up anybody that gets through the cracks. And he's very courageous, so I think he'll do a good job. Whether or not he's the guy or not, I don't know. We'll have to look and see where we're at. But he's certainly one of the guys, and he may end up being the guy back there.
What other options would you look at?
Edison back there. We can put Hakeem Shavers back there. You know, OJ's a guy that would have been back there potentially, but again, he had the toe injury, and he had to get some help on the sidelines and get it taped up, and then we wanted to utilize him for the offensive snaps, if you will. So we have some guys, but you know, Danny may be the best one. He's the one we went to Saturday, but we'll make that decision as the week goes on.
Just from an offensive standpoint, who steps in at a receiver spot in place of Raheem, or is that further down the list of concerns right now?
Well, you know, again, he wasn't starting for us at the receiver position. We were using him some in the A-back spot and using him some at the halfback spot. But we have other fast guys on the football team and lots of playmakers potentially from an athleticism and speed standpoint on our football team. And then, you know, obviously we would like to get Rob Henry involved in the game more. You know, I thought he did a good job Saturday and brings some new dimension to the field in a lot of ways. And he's a skilled player, you know, and he's one that could fit in any one of those spots, you know. So as we lose some guys, we have other skilled players on our football team that we can put in those spots, including Rob Henry as well.
What's maybe the most concerning area coming out of this game? I mean, what's the one, whether it's, you know, the offensive line or a person that you need better play from this week?
Well, we need better play at every position, you know, obviously. But the biggest concern was the missed tackles. You know, we had, I think, 27 missed tackles, and that's a lot of missed tackles. And normally you anticipate, you know, probably about 10% of the offensive plays you have a missed tackle on. So if a team runs 80 plays, you might have 8 missed tackles. So we had 3 times as many missed tackles, and that was a real difference maker in the ball game. That's one of the reasons why they were able to pile on so many rushing yards. So missed tackles is a huge concern. Some of that is a result of being misaligned and misassigned. We were very poor from a defensive standpoint throughout the course of the game, from an alignment standpoint, and we made some errors from an assignment standpoint, more so than we have throughout the course of the season. I don't know why. We thought we had a good game plan and practiced well, and obviously we didn't play near as well as we needed to. We had gone into the game with a lot of guys that were nicked up going into the game, several guys, and we got some guys nicked up throughout the course of the ball game, and sometimes that can get you a little bit disjointed when you know, guys are lining up maybe at new spots or haven't practiced as much. The very first play of the ball game, Taylor Richard comes up and then hits somebody hard, but he also hits hard at the same time, and he gets a shoulder injury for a little bit, you know. So now he's going through the rest of the game nicked up, and I think a little bit of lack of continuity throughout the course of the week, and some injuries throughout the course of the ball game added, to our net play this past Saturday. But I would say poor tackling, and then missed assignments and missed assignments on the defensive side of the ball. We have to get corrected, because you've already potentially gotten yourself beat on a play when you don't line up right, or do your assignments correct. And then we had some drop balls, so it's kind of hard to assess the quarterback's play in some ways, because we had some drop balls at some key times throughout the course of the game. And we've been pretty good so far this season. I think, catching the ones that have been thrown to us, but we dropped some this past Saturday. It was a day where our game, we felt like we could get maybe more out of our vertical passing game if we could protect the quarterback. And throughout the course of the ball game, we really protected our quarterback pretty good. Our quarterbacks, they took about 4 sacks that were unnecessary, and so it looks like the protection was a lot worse than what it was. But I was relatively pleased with the progress that we made from a pass protection standpoint, and we were able to drop back in the pocket and throw the ball down the field vertically some. We get the one big play in the opening play of the ball game, for example, but we threw the ball down the field several more times throughout the course of the ball game, and the protection was able to hold up. But we have to make our plays, and we have to catch the ball. So we had some drops, which was not good, and then we didn't do very well running the football, and we had some concerns coming into the ball game of being able to manufacture some run with the size of their defensive line and the quality of their linebackers. Their linebackers are outstanding. They're 2 or 3 of the top linebackers in our league. Last year, their two top linebackers finished first and second in the league in tackles, and up to this point in time in the season, they're ranked first and second in the league in tackles. So we have to block a lot better, against good defensive linemen and very accurate and active linebackers. So we didn't manufacture a whole lot of run game this past Saturday. I really felt like we weren't that far away from being able to connect and make a big day from a pitching and catching standpoint. So I am encouraged some, about our potential pitching and catching, but the drops negated some of our productivity and some of the yards that we could have got done on Saturday.
Braxton Miller is a really similar quarterback to Denard Robinson. Are you guys preparing for him differently than you did for Denard after giving up so many yards?
Well, some of the things will have carryover, and I don't know that there was really anything in the game plan that we needed to change against Michigan and Denard Robinson other than playing a little bit better. We really weren't that far off against Michigan from playing a lot better on defense, even though the score and the numbers are really lopsided. We were in the right spot. We had the right reads. We had the right keys and the right fits against Michigan, but we were a little bit slow to trigger and come downhill. And a great player like Denard Robinson, when he gets any crease or any daylight, he can really take it to the distance. He had 3 runs over 50 yards. He had 150 yards on 3 rushes. And that really dictated the outcome of the day. So I don't know that necessarily our game plan wasn't what we needed against Michigan. The execution needed to be a little bit cleaner. This past weekend, again, I still think we had a good game plan. Obviously, we have to do a much better job teaching and coaching so that our players can perform better. But we were misaligned and misassigned more this past weekend than we were a week ago against Michigan. So I'm not really sure what we'll do game plan wise or how we'll go about preparation. But we have to execute the game plan. Whatever we come up with, we have to execute it a lot better, obviously. We have to perform a lot better. We have to do a better job of coaching.
Just from a quarterback standpoint, last week you sound like you were going to go into the game with Caleb as the number 1 and then interject the others as needed. Mm-hmm. Do you stay that course, or do you go back to 2 series, or just however you divide it up?
I'm not really sure how we'll go about our business, and looking back on it, if I had to do it all over again, I'm not sure I wouldn't leave Caleb in there. We didn't have many plays again in the first half. We scored on the opening drive and put Robert in there, and I thought Robert did some good things, but he really wasn't, when it was all said and done, any more productive. A lot of that not being his fault. He had some drop passes as well, but I don't know, with the weather being like it was, I would have been better off just leaving Caleb in there and keeping him warm. I didn't think he was really performing all that. I didn't think that his performance was really a detriment. I know he threw a pick. The ball was a little high. They probably could have caught it. But going back and looking at it. I don't know that pulling him out and then having him sit out all that time and putting him back later on in the second half. That's a long time to sit out as a quarterback. You got to get warmed up again. And he was significantly less effective performance-wise in the second half than he was in the first half. And I don't know why. Maybe he was out for too long. So nothing. Not taking anything away from the other quarterbacks, but probably didn't do Caleb Turbush any favors on Saturday when we did take him out of the ball game. When we took him out, it wasn't because he had done anything wrong.
Right.
Robert's a really good player. We wanted to get Robert in the game some, and he pitched it around and did some things. But again, he got himself in a situation where he'd been a lot better off if he had thrown the ball away. And we took some sacks. Really, the ball game didn't really get out of hand until later in the second half. We had our chances, throughout the course of the game. We scored first in our openers, and then they have a good football team. They manufactured a drive and scored, and then we go back out on our second drive, and we manufacture a drive that, if we could finish it out, would have given us a chance to take the lead, but instead we throw a pick. Then we get back out there again on our third drive, and the score's still 7-7. That's a good football game. It used to be back in the old days. Now the game's 30-30. It's 7-7. It's 3rd and 10, and we complete a pass, and we come up about a half a yard short. So now we end up having to punt, rather than finishing the drive and giving ourselves a chance to take the lead. And then we come out on the fourth drive, and it's still a 7-7, and we didn't get that done. That was a 3rd and 3, I think is what it was, and we didn't get it done on that drive. But we had a chance to manufacture something and take the lead, and then we get the ball back late in the second quarter, and we're behind 17-7, and we're manufacturing a drive, and we're in field goal range, so we can either maybe kick a field goal and be down 17-10, or maybe we can manufacture the drive and get a touchdown, and now it's 17-14. But we had 3 or 4 opportunities in the first half to either take the lead or to close the gap before halftime, and we didn't get it done. So a lot of offensively, some good things, but on each and every play, often throughout the course of the ball game, someone didn't get the job done and it negated a drive. So and then again, we didn't play as well in the second half.